Hello everyone, this is author, motivational speaker, and dating coach Matthew C. Horne, and I'm bringing you a video tonight titled, Sexually Attractive Men Must Be Dangerous. But before we go any further, always know, my videos in the dating space, they're inspired by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available on my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to help me to get pushed up the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these messages. And that's about it. Let's get right to it. Sexually attractive men must be dangerous. And I say that because as you make the concerted effort to exercise the discipline of becoming the sexually attractive man, we're not going to call it an identity, it's a discipline. As you exercise the discipline to become the sexually attractive man, you're going to become a visible target for things both positive and negative. You're going to stand out because you're literally clicking on all cylinders. You've taken inventory of your best, and even, you're not even the attributes that aren't the strongest, and you're accentuating and you're heightening every attribute that you have. That's a discipline. You're controlling everything that's within your control, and you're presenting the absolute best version of yourself to life every day. That's a discipline, and that's going to make you stand out. It's going to increase your visibility, and this is what comes along with being the sexually attractive man. So naturally, especially when it comes to dealing with women, men are going to try you. There's no getting around that. So this is a necessary message that I had to put together. Men are going to try you, and it's not a matter of if, it's when and how frequent it's going to happen. So naturally, you have to be dangerous. You have to be willing to meet any level of danger that presents itself to you, and you have to be dangerous. And when it comes to the sexually attractive man, especially as you're out here dealing with women, you're going to come across a lot of men who are choosing not to operate in masculinity, weaker men. And weaker men see the world through a lens of competition. Masculine men see the world through a lens of whatever's for me is for me. Weak men think that you possessing something, you having something is taking away from them. Masculine men have things in their space, and they give those things the ability to choose them every day. That's the difference between the weak man and the masculine man, is trying to possess something versus understanding that you're giving everything in your space the opportunity to choose you every day. That's the cornerstone of masculinity. That's why I say in my book, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, this book right here, I have some of my quotes from inside of the book. I put them on my back cover, and the last quote, I'll read it to you. It says, "The man who is not afraid to lose her will always have her." But that means that any woman that you have in your life, you're never trying to do anything to keep her there. You're simply giving the best version of yourself to her and to life, and allowing her to decipher if she wants to stay every day. You could be in a 50-year marriage, and that's how you move every day. You're not trying to control anything. You're simply giving the woman the ability to choose you every day. That's the cornerstone of masculinity, is that I don't want things in my space that do not want me the same way that I want them. I don't want things in my space that don't give me the experience that is congruent with the man that I'm presenting to the world. That's masculinity right there. But very few men operate in that space. So you having access to beautiful women, it's a threat. It's a threat because they look at it as if you're taking something away from them, when in essence, if they were operating in full masculinity, they would understand that that's not the last beautiful woman on earth, and that beautiful women are in their space in abundance by virtue of how they're presenting themselves to the world every day. Beautiful women are not something to be attained. Beautiful women are something that naturally come to you and enter your space based on the man that you've become. And so that's why you have to be dangerous, because many men will look at you and actually admire you. I'm going to go somewhere with this real quick. They'll admire you, but then they'll have a realization that you have some attributes and you have an energy and some characteristics in a way about you that they'll never be able to fully operate in. And so that admiration is actually a catalyst for hate, and it makes you an ultimate threat. And that's what people do in society, especially a weaker man, that they're not trying to, get into just a physical altercation with you. Like, they're trying to take you out because you're a threat. You're a threat because they look at you and conclude that they can never have what you have. That is a very dangerous person. And so you have to be very dangerous and understand that you have to be ready to neutralize any threat that presents itself to you. Masculine men are always on defense. They're not looking to start things with people. They're not envious of others. They're fully fixated in themselves. They're totally secure. And they understand that what they want, they're going to find it in abundance, because that's just the way life goes for them, because they become a certain type of man. But like I was saying before, many men don't see the world through that lens. So you have to be ready for everything that comes to you. And so they see you with a beautiful woman, a woman that society deems as extremely attractive is coming. Or you walk up in a spot, and men, if you have these discernible, attractive qualities and you've developed yourself, like, men are looking at you when you walk in, and they're assessing how the women in there that are very attractive are going to receive you. So you have to be very conscious of that. You have to be very conscious of that. And they're looking at you, and then they're also looking around at the women and how they're reacting to you. And that's not a natural course of action for a sexually attractive man, because he's the star in the equation. Like, he regularly gets approached. Women are regularly receptive to him, so he doesn't have to size every man up. But a weaker man is sizing you up. A weaker man is mad when you walk in the spot. I've seen men smack their lips. I've seen men stand in front of women so they couldn't see me. And maybe some of the guys I was with, like, you have to pick up on these cues. You have to have an extremely high level of social awareness if you're going to successfully navigate and safely navigate spaces as a sexually attractive man, because you are viewed as a threat. And I can remember something that happened recently. This was maybe 2 months ago, if that. And I met up with this girl, and it was our first time meeting. We had FaceTime and things like that. And we met in a downtown area, like outdoors. The weather was still nice enough. It was like an evening, maybe around 8 o'clock. And we grabbed a seat. She was there waiting for me. And it was kind of like a road. It was an active, like, walkway, if I can describe it like that. And it was just too open. It was just too much going on. So I said, let's walk. Let's walk. Let's go to a little bit more secluded area and things like that. And we were approaching the sidewalk to cross the street to the area that I wanted to kind of like be away from things in. And this guy, he had no shirt on. He was sweating. And I saw him as we were walking before we got to the sidewalk. And he had his eyes fixated on us. And this girl was, very attractive, your light-skinned, long hair, nice body type girl, whatever. And the guy, I heard him smack his lips. I'm like, oh man, here we go. And so I just gave him a look, but I was observing everything about this guy because he was approaching. And the girl I was with, as I talked to her later, like she saw what was going on too, but I wasn't worried about what she saw because I had to handle the situation. So the guy was approaching, and I could just feel his energy of disdain towards me because I had this attractive girl. But he stopped. I gave him a look, and he wasn't approaching anymore. And I just kept him in my peripheral, but I was just focused on, all right, let's cross the street. And that could have been a very dangerous situation, but I was ready for it. And sometimes guys will think twice. That's why you want to really focus on your physical fitness and making sure that you have a presence wherever you go. And the guy was maybe about 6'2". He was in some decent shape, but he looked at me, 3 inches taller than him, with the build. And he probably, had a little conversation with himself very quickly. And he chose, not to go through with whatever he was thinking, but he felt the way. And there's been other situations I've been in where, even like last weekend, I was out, got to a spot late, and I go right to work. If I go to a spot, I start hollering at girls immediately. I kind of sit back, see who's with who, make sure I'm not stepping on any toes, anything like that. And I saw this, tall, attractive woman, my type, and I started talking to her. And this guy came out of nowhere. And he just, I guess he was trying to make his presence known. And he just kind of said a couple words to her while I'm talking to her. And then he stepped off. And that's going to happen a lot. Like a lot of guys, like when you go out, you might start talking to a girl and then a guy will come from out of nowhere. And it could be different guys talking to the girl, but he's not going to get up and try to make his presence known unless he views the guy as a threat. When you can see discipline, when you can see a man who really cares about himself, whose appearance is right, there's no holes in his appearance, and he has a good energy and good swag, like that weak man looks at that man as if he can take something away from him. So that's going to happen a lot. Like men are going to try to come and let their presence be known. And there's varying levels of danger that come with that. So there was, the last thing I'll say, in regards to that, there was one situation. I would say this was a little while ago, and I had some of my childhood friends come in town, and one of my boys just kind of put something together, and we met up, and we went to a bar, and we were all kicking it and this and that, and I saw this pretty girl. She was sitting down, and I started talking to her, and this guy came, and the guy had a girl with him, and that's what made this like crazy. This guy came, leaned on me, and reached across me, and I guess tapped the girl, like, "Yeah, you okay?" and this and that. So he was very disrespectful with that. So I just took my forearm and I put it in his chest and backed him up off me. And then he put his forearm up. He was like, "We gonna do this?" I'm like, "It's up to you." So you have to, when those threats approach you, don't focus on anything but the threat. Don't look around and all that stuff. You always naturally want to have your eyes fixated on whatever weak ass, bitch ass nigga is trying to, exert his presence in your space. So I just essentially put my forearm in his chest, backed him up off me, and he was just like, "You want to do this? You want to do this?" And I'm just like, "Man, it's up to you." And he saw that I wasn't playing. I mean, you have to look these men dead in their eyes and let them know, like, you're not playing with them. Like it's this can end very badly for you, and you never want to escalate. But sometimes the danger gets that close. Like you have to give off an energy that you're ready to respond to the danger. And so he backed up and this and that. It wasn't anything to it. I went back to talking to the girl. And got her number. I was like, "Yo, you know this dude?" She's like, "No, like I just met him tonight." And so he was just trying to exert his dominance. And like I said, people just gonna try you for no reason, man. Just because you're exuding certain energies, you look a certain way. Like the sexually attractive man, if you've really operated in that space, if you're deeper in that discipline, then you understand that this is a common experience. And so I just kind of went back to my boys. And my one boy, the guy that approached me didn't even know. My one boy was waiting for something to happen. And it wasn't going to end well for that guy. That's all I can say. But I went back to my boys, we chilling. And, one of my boys that was in position, he's like, "Yeah, what's up with that?" And this and that. My other boy was off talking to a girl. He didn't even see what was going on. And then the guy that initially approached me, he got to talking all kinds of stuff. Because if a man has a problem with somebody, he's going to bring it right to him and take it all the way. So he got to run in his mouth and this and that. But, I just grabbed my boys like, "Yo, let's just get out of here," because the worst thing you want to do is put yourself in a situation that you're in front of a judge. That's the worst thing that you can possibly do, is put yourself in a situation where you're in front of a judge. Because at that point, regardless if you were right in the situation, you're still at the mercy of the judge. So it's best to let your presence be known in terms of you're not someone to play with. But if you can get out of the situation, then just get out. Just get out. Go somewhere else and just do what you need to do for the rest of the night or however that plays out. But there's varying levels of danger that are going to find their way to you. There's varying levels. So I recommend, whatever state you live in, take your classes so that you can walk around as dangerous as you possibly need to be. And I'll leave it at that. You understand what I'm talking about. And to carry a weapon, I'm not advocating that unless you have a high level of emotional intelligence, because you can be in a situation where someone brings something to you and you have a weapon on you, and if you don't have emotional intelligence, if you're not in control of your emotions, you might get offended, and you might pop off, and a threat didn't even call you to respond in that magnitude. So to carry a weapon, like, you have to have extreme emotional intelligence. And I respect some people who don't carry weapons, because they'll say, man, if I get in a situation, I'm just gonna let it go, and I don't trust myself and how I react, and that's perfectly fine. But the way things are out here, especially as a sexually attractive man, people are going to try you. And so if you make that step to actually carry a weapon, then you need to have extreme emotional intelligence and be in control of your emotions, so that you're not in front of that judge. Because once you're in front of that judge, you're at his mercy. At best, you're going to spend 10, 20, 30, $40,000 on an attorney trying to, help the judge to see that you're justified in your actions. If you can get out of a situation, just get out of it. And that's what I'm going to recommend. But not just, I don't want to talk about just, being physically dangerous. That's something that I needed to discuss. But also, you want to be societally dangerous, because you don't want to be a danger to society, meaning you're a menace just looking to bring chaos to people. That's a menace to society. But someone who is societally dangerous is someone who's comfortable within themselves and not afraid to go their own way. Because there's many confines and constraints in society. Society has a box built for you as soon as you're born, a place that they don't want you to go beyond. You're going to be in different atmospheres and different structures where certain people are not going to want you to rise past certain levels or be influential in a certain way that goes against the indoctrination of the matrix and the system. So I believe sexually attractive men, that's a heightened level of masculinity, to say, I have gifts and talents and I'm going to offer them to the world for profit. That's a very heightened level of masculinity, and that's stepping outside of what we were told we could do since we were babies. It takes an incredible amount of audacity to bring your gifts and talents to the world and offer them and explore something, in an entrepreneurial capacity. And I've talked about that not too long ago in one of my videos. But naturally, that masculinity is going to understand that they don't really fit in the box. And so you're going to have to become societally dangerous, meaning that you're not afraid to go against the confines that society has set up for you. And you're willing to be true to yourself and go your own way and deliver whatever you were sent here to deliver to this world. That's why a lot of extremely masculine men, they understand they just don't fit. They're challenged in different atmospheres and structures, and they just don't fit. And, one person that comes to mind in terms of being societally dangerous, that's our good brother and the Godfather, Kevin Samuels. And he was societally dangerous in many ways. One aspect, he was trying to bring black men and black women together. And secondly, he told the truth. He told the truth in the face of a group of men who were targeting black women for profit. So I remember, while Kevin Samuels was alive, I remember Creflo Dollar, because Kevin Samuels' name really spread really quickly. And Creflo Dollar, the pastor, came on stage, on his Sunday sermon, and he was just like, yeah, women, I don't have to talk to you this way. You can do bad all by yourself, and, all that kind of stuff. And that was his backhanded response to Kevin Samuels, because Kevin Samuels was a threat to the society, that religious society that was trying to keep black women in bondage so that they can keep their behinds in that seat and continue to give that money to that pastor. And those pastors didn't want those women to wake up and understand Kevin Samuels. All he said was fit, feminine, friendly, and cooperative. And that is a blueprint that can get, especially if it's an attractive woman, that can get her a husband. And that's in that religious uh, confine, that society. If that man comes into her life and has leadership, then that pastor doesn't have access to her anymore to exploit her. And that's what they were afraid of. Most of these churches are just full of women. So Kevin Samuels was a societal threat to the structure. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you, is you have to be dangerous in that way. You have to be societally dangerous as well if you're going to operate in the fullness of who you really are. And another pastor, Jamal Bryant, after Kevin Samuels passed, he said some crazy stuff about it. He literally stomped on Kevin Samuels' grave. There was a fake GoFundMe going around. Kevin Samuels died. He was worth $10 million. And they created, somebody tried to capitalize on it, one of those con artists, and created a fake GoFundMe. And Jamal Bryant, was talking stuff. Was just like, yeah, you were saying this and that, but you need to GoFundMe, and it was fake. And Jamal Bryant and Kevin Samuels, they were both in the Alpha fraternity, and his frat brothers got on him, and Jamal Bryant had to come out and apologize. But that's what I'm trying to get across to you, is when a man came across and was speaking truth to their market, so to speak, their bread and butter that they were able to exploit every Sunday, he was a threat to a societal structure. And that's what I'm encouraging you all to do. You have to be a threat to the society in the right way. You don't want to be the menace, like I said, but you want to be societally dangerous. And that comes with living your truth. And that's directly tied into operating in full masculinity. Like you're going to be in some spaces that you're just too large for. Your aura is too big, your impact, your energy is just too big for spaces. So you're going to find yourself creating your own way in your own path. And that's not something that's encouraged in society. But in order to escape society's box, you have to be societally dangerous, meaning that you go against the confines and you reject the indoctrination of society in the matrix. If something's calling your name, that you have to offer to this world. And it gets dangerous, even in the professional world as an entrepreneur. It's dangerous as well. There were some incidents that I had just being a young guy, in a suit, groomed, jewelry on, and just selling my books and, marketing myself and things like that. And there were always older men, I could just count on it, that will come up to me and just start talking crazy because I represented every risk they never took in life, every dream they never lived. And so the admiration they had for me was offensive, and it turned to hate, like I said earlier in the video. And they were stepping to me. I've come nose to nose with men, and I'm just sitting there selling books, minding my business. And men, even it still happens from time to time when men start talking crazy and things like that. It got to a point where I had to consult security firms because it was happening so regularly. But you just have to understand that when you step out of society's box, and that's the cornerstone of the sexually attractive man, because you've exercised a certain discipline, whether it's dealing with women, whether it's in the professional world, or whether you're just walking through life every day, you're noticeable and you're a target. And you want to operate accordingly. That's all I can say, is you want to operate accordingly. And don't worry about the matrix and the indoctrination and the subsequent people that are going to be challenging you on a regular basis. Just worry about your mission and your purpose. And, we look at our leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and how these guys were literal martyrs. They were willing to die for the deposit that they had to deliver to this world. And I don't know the scope of who's listening to me, but some people do have a calling that's a threat to the structure, a dream, a purpose, something that you're supposed to do. And you can't be afraid to die for it, man. You can't be afraid to die for it, because if you are impactful enough that the structure and the system wants to shut you down and eliminate you and take you out, then even in your death, you'll be more impactful than you were in your life. So sometimes, you have different things that you'll encounter that you literally have to be willing to die for. And that's something that I couldn't let be lost in this message that I'm giving tonight. But that's pretty much it. That's the cornerstone of what I had to say. You really have to be dangerous. You have to understand what's coming your way, and you have to be prepared for it. You have to understand why. You have to be vigilant. You have to be observant. You have to read different energies around you, because there's always going to be somebody about you, around you, that feels a way about you. If you've taken the exercise, the choice to undergo the discipline to maximize yourself in every possible way, that's why it's how to get beautiful women and everything else you want from life, because you really become the sexy, attractive man when you exercise the discipline, and life responds to you, not just beautiful women. And because you've chosen to elevate, you are now visible, and not everyone is going to like that. You're going to have some people who celebrate you, and you're going to have some people who despise you. And people are willing to go to great lengths when they despise something, especially when they deem it as a threat. That's a representation of something that they could never become. Even though they have their own talents and abilities and things that they could explore, most men are conditioned to view the lens through a competitive lens. So they don't want you to take away from whatever they think is theirs, as opposed to building whatever's for them. That's just how it goes out here. So just remember, you have to be extremely dangerous out here. Do whatever you have to do to meet the level of danger that you need to be, that's matching the experiences that you're having. You'll know as you continue to evolve and grow and become more visible and elevate and become more of a target, you'll know how dangerous you need to be. And just don't ever look away from that. Your life could literally depend on it. This has been Matthew C. Horne, author, motivational speaker, and dating coach, bringing you a video tonight just talking about sexually attractive men must be dangerous. It's been brought to you by my books, How to Get Beautiful Women and Everything Else You Want from Life, in addition to How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. They're both available at my website, www.matthewchorne.com. Get your copies. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and to continue to push me up the algorithm so I can continue to bring you these messages. And if this video has been of value to you tonight, please do not forget to drop something in my donation information, my PayPal or my Cash App. That's in my video description. Also, if you're interested in me making custom videos on a particular topic, and I'm putting them on my channel, a donation of $50 or more to my PayPal or my Cash App that's in my video description will get your video on my page in 24 hours or less. Leave the topic that you want me to talk about in a note on PayPal or Cash App, or if your topic is more delineated, it's a little bit more extensive, then make your donation to my PayPal or my Cash App and email me at matt@matthewchorne.com so that I can do an assessment of what you want me to talk about and get that video right up in 24 hours or less. And if you're in need of coaching, you know I'm your man. If my voice resonates with you, then email me at matt@matthewchorne.com. Leave your name, your phone number, and whatever issue that you're facing in the dating space, and I will get back to you immediately with the terms of the coaching, and the coaching will begin immediately. I've enjoyed spending some time with you all tonight. Just remember to understand that this is just a reality of becoming the sexually attractive man, the man who's chosen to exercise the discipline to continually perpetuate his growth. You have to be dangerous. Society is not going to always welcome you with open arms, but you must be ready to respond to whatever comes your way. I'll see you soon.